what is now the state of Oklahoma. Those of you not familiar with Native music may be wondering, well, what are you saying? I mean, are you actually saying words that are Native, or is it something else? Well, a lot of our songs do have words in them. Like I said, there are over 600 tribes in the United States who speak over 250 different languages and dialects. So many songs from each tribe are sung in their language. However, the majority of Native songs are not sung in a language. Instead, there are vocables that are used in these songs. For instance, a vocable is a word with no meaning. Kind of like around this season when we sing a song that goes like this. Fa la 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 la. What is a fa? What is a la? These are simply vocables or words with no meaning. But when you put those fas and las in proper order, you perhaps recognize them as part of a Christmas song. Well, our Indian songs are very similar to that. However, you're not going to hear fas or las. Instead, you're going to hear hey-yas and hey-yos. But when we put those hey-yas and hey-yos in proper order, we recognize those as very meaningful songs as well. Now, there's a drum beat that you may have heard and associated it with Indian culture. This drum beat goes like this. How many have heard that drum beat before? All right. Well, I'm here to tell you that no Indian tribe uses that drum beat. And so whenever you hear that drum beat again on television, the movies, or wherever you learn that drum beat, whoever put that drum beat on television and movies was not a real Indian, nor did they know very much about Indian culture, because no tribal group uses that drum beat. Instead, we do have rhythms. These rhythms give us the cadence for our different dances and our different ceremonies, and they also set the mood for a feast or a ceremony that is going to take place. Some of these rhythms sound like this. So, you can now tell the difference that we have many different styles of drum beats which accompany Indian rhythms throughout our songs. Songs are created for contemporary times. At this time, I'm going to share with you a song which a close friend of mine made in this century, and it commemorates our Iraqi warriors who have returned home victorious and have lived to talk about their experiences in defending our freedoms overseas in the desert. And this song is called an Iraqi Veterans Song. Indian Institute, we are an educational facility. And so that we hope that your experience at our museum will be an educational one. Before I leave, I'd like to be able to answer some questions and perhaps educate you more about our museum or about the American Indian culture. And so if you have some questions at this time, I will answer them to the best of my abilities. All right, any questions on this side? Yes, sir.
Do you play other instruments besides the drum and voice?
Do I play other instruments besides the drum? Actually, I do. I play the flute. I use a rattle. But I specialize in percussion, the drums. I have several drums. I have a Alaskan sealskin drum, a tall Pueblo drum that's made out of a cottonwood log that's hollowed out, a small kettle drum that's used for our Native American church ceremonies that are held all evening, a square drum, round drums of different sizes, big powwow drums. So I also teach workshops on Indian singing as well. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
What tribe do you belong to?
What tribe do I belong to? My father is a full-blooded Kiowa Indian, and they come from what is now the state of Oklahoma. My mother is half Pueblo Indian, coming from the Pueblo of Oke-Awenge, and half Santi Dakota, who were formerly known as the Great Sioux Nation. Anybody else? Questions? 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 Well, before I leave, I'd like to teach you an important word, which is perhaps the most important word in any Indian language because it means thank you. In my father's language, the Kiowa language, you say thank you by saying aho. Can you say aho? Aho, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your stay at the National Museum of the American Indian.